here. So we're gonna do a sequence for stretching the wrists, the palms, the fingers today. And we're gonna sit in a seated position in order to do so to begin. And then we'll do a few things tabletop position also. So if sitting directly on the heels in this fashion, with the knees and ankles touching, does not feel comfortable, it creates pain in your body, in your knees, your ankles, etc., then you have options. You can have a block or two. I like to have a couple handy, depending on how the body feels. Come forward onto the hands and knees, separate the feet by about as wide as the hips, placing one block between the feet, maybe two, and you can experiment. Try sitting back on the block and see if it feels comfortable. If it does not, then you add a second block. Trying to make sure they're nice and even before you sit back. And sometimes when you're on a bit more height, you'll need the block slightly closer. And if you can, you lift the skin of the knee and you bring the knees to touch if possible. And you're hugging the edges of the feet to the block and you're pushing the tops of the feet into the floor. You can even do a bit of an ankle lift if you like, trying to lengthen the heels. And this is a way, if you're on height, to create more strength and mobility in those ankles as you go. Anywho, picking whichever option works for you. Changing it as needed. You can always come forward and straighten out those legs, stretch out the legs anytime you need to. So to begin, straightening arms, spread the fingers, squeeze the fingers. Trying to keep the fingers level with the palm here. Try not to have the wrist higher or lower than the shoulders. And try not to let the fingers fan higher than the wrist. Try to keep them in line. And then fingers squeezing, circles with the wrists and palms. And you're trying to keep the wrist relatively still here. So from the side, this is what it looks like. Good. Change direction with the circles. Try to relax the shoulders, lift the sternum and abdomen. It's as though the lower abdomen is drawn toward the lower back. As you lengthen the spine, change the direction. Try not to let the hands go wider than shoulders or narrower than shoulders, but think exactly the same width as your shoulders. You can always glance in a mirror occasionally to check it out, or look down with the hands slightly, or with the eyes. Good. And then stopping with your circles, spread the fingers, squeeze the fingers, this time into fists. And you can take the arms wide here, why not? Alternating thumbs on the inside and thumbs on the outside of the fist. And you can do the same series with the arms wide or with the arms in front of you. Both are beneficial, and they'll work the shoulders in a slightly different capacity. Squeezing the fist, bringing those fists directly in front of you, just a few more rounds. Try not to let your neck shorten one way or the other. Try to keep the neck nice and long. And then fingers squeezing on the insides of or thumbs on the inside of the fist if you can as you start to make circles. If you feel too much stretch with the thumb on the inside, you can always take the thumb on the outside of the fist as well. Think wrist and forearm remaining still, isolating the movement to the fist to the wrist. Go the other way. Remember, if you begin to feel too much sensation in your legs or any pain at all, it's important to stretch out the legs. And then stopping with the circles, spread the fingers, flip the palms up a little, flip the palms down a little. Now, if at any point in the series you feel too much in the shoulders, you simply bend your elbows like this, trying to stack the elbows right under the shoulders rather than directly in front. But if you can keep going, keep going. Trying to relax the jaw, the forehead, the shoulders. Abdomen drawing toward lower back as you lengthen the thoracic spine. Good, and then palms towards you. Slide the fingers from side to side. And back to center, palms face away, side to side. Back to center, lengthen, fingers together, point the fingers in, point the fingers out. Very much a lateral stretch here this time. And I imagine that my palms are on a table and I'm keeping my palms at that table the whole time. I don't let the pinky edge of the wrist lift. I don't let the thumb edge of the wrist lift. Good. Lengthen, rest the hands. Take a deep breath in to lift the shoulders. Big sigh. Good. Now we're going to do one more stretch with the hands before we come on to the hands and knees. If you need to stretch your legs first, do. Have your right palm facing up. Have your left palm facing down. Touch the backs of the hands. Now hook the little fingers. Right little finger goes on the inside and under. Then the ring finger, inside and under. And then the middle finger, inside and under. Touch the right thumb and index, the left thumb and index to create circles. And you're pulling the wrists and palms apart as you squeeze with the fingers that are hooked. You can squeeze your forearms together. You can think upper arm bones into sockets a little bit more, contracting the abdomen and lengthening the spine. Either fixing your gaze or closing the eyes if available to you. This one's fantastic for arthritic symptoms, whether you're already experiencing them or you want to prevent them from occurring later in your life. 5 more deep breaths. And you can always hold longer. This one's a goodie. Releasing the fingers, slowly straightening out the arms. Let the palms face up for a moment. Let the fingers curl. Maybe let your spine relax. Let your head relax. And then lengthening the spine, stacking the shoulders. This time left palm facing up, right palm facing down. Backs of the hands are touching. Grabbing little fingers, thinking left little finger on the inside and under to start, followed by the ring and the middle. The right pointer touches the right thumb, the left pointer touches the left thumb. You're thinking left palm to the right, right palm to the left. Fingers are squeezing as you pull the palms apart. Maybe squeeze your forearms as well and think a little more broadness in the collarbones. We're still squeezing our legs together. We're pressing into the tops of our feet. You can also think of broadening the palm any amount here. You can also think of pressing the thumb and index together with both hands. Equally try to pull them apart. Imagine that there were a very slight amount of space between the pointer and the thumb on both hands, and you'll find more sensation out of stretch. Lungs expanding, lungs contracting. Five more deep breaths. When you're ready to, release the fingers, slowly extend the arms, and then let your palms face up. Let your fingers curl. Good. Now from here, we're going to come out of our kneeling position. So coming forward onto the hands and knees, fingers are spread wide, index fingers pointing forward or to the corners of the mat. If the shoulders are a little bit tighter, go wider with those hands. It makes a huge difference. Separate the knees by a hip's distance. Slide the right toes away from you. Take the toes farther away than the heel if you can, opening up the toes. And try not to lift your head higher than your spine. I have a tendency to do this, so try not to copy that. Think head in line with spine. Not letting your head sink, not letting your head lift, but right in the middle. And then toes closer to you than heel. And then right knee comes to the ground. And I'll turn sideways so you can see from another angle. Left toes tucked this time, sliding the toes farther away from you than the heel. Try not to lift the head or sink the head, but right in the middle. Try not to lift the hip or drop the hip, but right in the middle. And then taking the toes closer to you, lengthening the heel. Trying not to let the shoulders change here, but keeping them consistent. Good, let's do that one more time. Right toes away. closer than heel. And knee coming down, left toes away, and heel away. Good. And then from here, we'll remain on our hands and knees. We're gonna work with our hands a little bit more. So fingers are spread quite wide, toes are tucked, hips are quite close to heels. This is a great stretch for the feet and ankles as well, abdomen lifting. You're gonna try to lift all your fingers and lower all your fingers, keeping the base of the index finger on the floor, the base of the thumb on the floor. Now lifting all the fingers, see if you can tap just the little fingers. And then just the ring fingers. Good. Just the middles. And just the pointers. And last one, thumbs, just thumbs. Trying to keep all the other fingertips not touching the floor as you go. Beautiful. And you can always choose, if you wanted more in the same series, the further forward you bring those shoulders, so same idea, you can have your shoulders further forward, but it will intensify what you feel in the wrist and forearm quite a bit. So I would highly recommend starting here, and then as it begins to feel more comfortable, coming farther forward. Good, we'll do one more exercise with the fingers here. Making a fist with the hand, thumb on the inside for more, thumb on the outside for less, fists as wide as shoulders. Pulling those elbows apart if you know you're flexible in the elbow. If you can hyperextend your elbow like so, think engaging the elbow and lengthening into the thoracic spine. Try not to let your shoulders creep to your ears, but find length in the neck and insertion of those upper arm bones, if that makes sense to you. Now from here, if you want a little more, you can rock a little side to side. And then if it's feeling fantastic, as I said at the last one, you can come more forward, slightly, depending on how it feels. And you don't have to go side to side. It's simply an add-on to make it more intense. But if you're already feeling more than enough, staying farther back and remaining still, and just pressing into the fronts of those fists, or the tops of those fists gently. Good. And releasing one hand, releasing the other hand, pressing into those palms. Let's point the feet, knees a little bit wider than hips. Bring your hips towards your heels. And then a few options. You can either extend the arms and rest your forehead on the floor. You can stack one palm on top of the other and then place the forehead. Stack the fists and place the forehead. Last option would be to place a block. Either medium height fingertips touching block or low height, as long as your forehead's resting on something. Another alternative, if you feel like you're in between, is to have the forehead resting and extend the arms, either fingertips with palms lifting or palms pressing down. 5 more deep breaths. And then slowly placing the hands under the shoulders if they are not already present, pressing into the hands to come up. And taking your block to the side if you're using it. Knees and ankles back to hip distance. Stretch out the right leg, right toes. Take them farther away than the heel. And then heel farther than toes. Switching when you're ready, taking the left toes farther away. And then the heel farther away. Good. Then taking the feet to one side, coming onto your seat. And then it's time for Shavasana. Coming into your Shavasana nice and slow. And make sure you take at least 5 minutes there. Thanks for practicing with me. Have a great day.